I've been enjoying playing the new Season 2 of Marvel Rivals recently, and as some of you might know, it's actually inspired me to make a video building my own hero shooter with characters from Mortal Kombat. That video did fairly well, so in today's video, I will be expanding that roster with 18 more characters just to match Overwatch's current roster size of 42, and discussing some more team-up abilities for our new additions to the roster. If you want to see the last video I made like this, that will be linked down below for you to check out after you watch this video. But with that being said, let's get right into the roster.
Aaron Black.
For our first character being added to the roster, we have Aaron Black. He's a damaged character. His primaries are lever action rifle and twin revolvers. He's pretty much your basic sniper character, you know, Black Widow, Widowmaker. He uses a sort of like a sniper rifle, so that's pretty much his character archetype in this game. His abilities are Deadshot, switch to lever action rifle, to sniper mode to fire FMJ rounds, so pretty much just aiming, right? Using the sniper scope to aim. And then TNT stick, toss a stick of dynamite that explodes after a few seconds. Nether Beast Trap, place a trap that stuns and damages the enemy to activate it. Death Roll, roll in the direction of movement to take reduced damage and reload. Cassidy in Overwatch has this move, so I thought I would give it to Aaron Black since they're sort of like the same character. And his ultimate is High Noon, shoot and instantly kill all enemies in view after they have been scanned. Again, this is Cassidy or McCree's ultimate from Overwatch. And then the next character we have
Kotal Khan.
Kotal Khan is a tank. His primaries are
Makwawit,
and Crescent Blades. His abilities are Blood Offering, take slight damage for a slight damage boost. Yayakame Disc, hurl a Stunstone forward. Obsidian Totem, erupt a totem to grant himself damage reduction while in range. Crystal Totem, erupt a totem that grants himself a damage boost while in range. Blood Totem, erupt a totem that converts damage he deals to enemies into bonus health for himself while in range. And his ultimate is God Ray, summon a ray of sunlight that deals damage over time to enemies and healing over time to allies. If his ultimate seems too OP, then it could probably just be changed to where it only heals him while he's inside, but it would still do the continuous damage to enemies that are inside of the God Ray. And then for our next character we have
Jade.
Jade is a support character. I wasn't sure what class I was gonna make her at first, but once I went through her moves, I decided she made sense to be a support character. Her primaries are Razorang, throw a bladed triple-winged boomerang that pierces through enemies and returns to Jade after reaching maximum distance, and Blazing Bow, swing bow staff to deflect projectiles. It would also do damage to enemies close to her, but its primary objective is to deflect projectiles back. And then her abilities are Nitro Kick, dash forward with a blazing Nitro Kick to knock back enemies, kicking through allies heals them. Dodging Shadows, grant herself or allies a flashing effect that makes projectiles and hit scan attacks pass through them. Edenian Spark, launch a green spark forward that travels through the ground and launches enemies up while healing allies the spark touches. And her ultimate is Divine Forces, gain bonus health and healing over time, toggle between two performances to heal nearby allies and give them a damage boost. Now, if this sounds familiar, that is because it's actually Luna Snow's ultimate, and the idea of it would be that she could sort of maybe, this is gonna sound crazy, so you know how she has the pole, right? The bow staff. Maybe, just maybe, she would be pole dancing for her ultimate. She doesn't have to be, but like, I'm just saying because that's sort of like a thing with her character, that she has the pole weapon and she kind of uses it. She kind of like dances with it sometimes. And there ain't nothing wrong with pole dancing. There ain't gotta be no sexual thing between it. I just thought that it would make sense, since she's a healer character, a support character, that she would have a healer character's ultimate and maybe it could relate to that somehow, but it doesn't have to. But it would probably still, I still think that's a good ultimate for her. And then the next character we have is
Sonya.
Sonya Blade is a damaged character. You'd think that I would make her like the Black Widow of the game, right? And I mean, maybe she could, but I didn't want to limit her to the Black Widow archetype. I sort of wanted to give her her own thing, because she does have like her own unique moveset that isn't like military girl. So her primary attack is Rings of Doom, fire energy rings with her gauntlets, damaging the target hit and enemies behind them. And then her abilities are Blade Runner, run forward, and enable a powerful jump. Now I know what you're thinking, yes, this is one of Black Widow's abilities. I just decided to give it to her because why not, right? I mean, I gotta give her something Black Widow-esque, right? And our second ability is Flying Boots, unleash an energy propelled spinning kick to knock enemies airborne. Again, a Black Widow special. I didn't want to make her like the sniper type because I didn't think she's ever used the sniper in the game, and plus I feel like Erron Black makes way more sense for the sniper character, but I just decided to give her Black Widow's abilities anyway. And then Kiss of Death, blow a kiss of poisoned gas that deals damage over time inside. Cat Turret, cast a turret that autonomously attacks enemies. And then her ultimate is Mortar Kombat, deploy a mortar and fire up to 3 explosive shells. This would be similar to Bastion's ultimate in Overwatch, where he turns into like a rocket turret thing and he can pretty much do the same thing but with like normal rockets, I guess. I like to add the mortar aspect to it because the Mortal Kombat, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then our passive is Sleight of Hand, Rings of Doom automatically reloads after using a special ability. This is Winter Soldier's passive ability. And then for our next character we have
Jax.
Jax Briggs is a tank. His primary attack is Iron Fist. You guys get it. Get up close to strike enemies. And then his abilities are Force Shield. Target a location, create a Force Shield. When awakened, it strikes nearby enemies attacked by Jax and his allies. This is one of Groot's wall attacks. I know that if you guys haven't watched the other video, I gave Sub-Zero one of Groot's wall attacks, and this is the other Groot wall attack. So his wall moves are sort of split between the two characters, similar with how I've done with a lot of these different characters. I've sort of given them different abilities from different characters and also given them their own abilities. So that's a little sneak peek into that video for you guys. And then another ability, Lethal Clap. Clap metal arms together to create a heat missile and release heat. Ground Shatter, pound the ground to launch nearby enemies up and release heat. His ultimate is Boot Camp, transform into a giant and stomp the ground through a portal, slowing enemies within range and disabling their mobility attacks. Now, I'm not too sure about this ultimate just because I feel like it's a little complicated. I mean, it's not complicated, but I did have to try and figure out a way that you could turn him turning into a giant and stomping the ground into something that would work in a hero shooter, right? And that's sort of the problem with Marvel Rivals and adding some of the characters like speedsters. It's like, how do you make a speedster work in Marvel Rivals? How do you make a character like Ant-Man that can shrink, that's super tiny, and can also turn super big? How do you put him into the game? How do you put his moveset into the game? I'm sure that they're figuring it out. I mean, they might be smarter than me over there, so maybe they'll figure it out somehow. But this is my way of figuring out that ultimate ability, is him stomping through a portal, so that way you don't have to have like a giant Jax on the battlefield just messing everything up. And then his passive ability is Overheat. Heat accumulates with every strike landed. If heat peaks for too long, Jax will gain anti-heal. This is basically Doctor Strange's passive ability, but tweaked a little bit to fit Jax. So I thought I would add that to his moveset here and make it sort of similar to Doctor Strange's Dark Magic passive and his Dark Magic abilities. And then for our next character, we have
Sindel.
Sindel is a support character. Again, I wasn't too sure what I was gonna make her, but at the end of the day, I felt like support made the most sense for her. Her primary attack is Hairball, hurl orbs of energy from her hair forward to heal allies and damage enemies. Her abilities are Hair Whip, whip hair forward to knock back an enemy, Hair Bounce, rocket upwards with the bounce of her hair, sort of similar to how Squirrel Girl can use her tail to bounce up. Allied Inspiration, grant allies a damage boost. Banshee Scream, scream forward to stun an enemy. Regal Presence, hold ability key to fall slowly. Her ultimate is Scream Queen, unleash a sonic scream to stun nearby enemies, sort of similar to her Banshee Scream, but it's more of like an area of effect attack instead of just straightforward. And then her passive is Maleficent March, receive a movement boost when not injured. I think Mantis has this or something similar to this. And then for our next character, we have
Kano.
Kano is a damage character. His primary is his eye laser, shoot a laser from his cybernetic eye. His abilities are butterfly knives, throw knives to cause damage over time to an enemy. This has 2 charges. Kano Ball, curl into a ball and fly forward to knock back an enemy on impact. Zaterran Spit, throw a vial of blinding acid. I wasn't sure to give this move to Kano or Aaron Black, because Aaron Black does also have this move. Or maybe Kano has it to where he throws it in the eyes and it stuns them, and then Aaron Black's has it to where it goes on the ground and does damage over time. But ultimately I decided to give it to Kano and also give it a blinding effect, because, you know, obviously if you get acid in your eyes it's gonna blind you, but also he has the one eye, so I kind of wanted to give him a blind ability since he's kind of half blind. Not really, I mean, I'm sure he could see that through a cybernetic eye somehow. And then he also has Molotov Cocktail, unleash a Molotov Cocktail, damaging an enemy on impact and leaving a patch of fire on the ground to deal damage over time. Biomagnetic Trap, deploy a magnet that slows enemies within its range. Movado in MK1 also has this move. I don't know if he had it in any of the other games, but they gave it to Kano in MK11 for some reason. And so, I mean, if Movado was added to the game, I guess you could probably just take this ability away from him and give it to Movado. I'm not sure what you would do for Movado's character anyway, to be honest. And then his ultimate is Jetpack Joyride, engage in free flight and lock onto enemies in sight. I mean, look, it's Kano. Black Dragon, Black Market, you know, he probably got a jetpack just lying around somewhere. Screw it, give Kano a jetpack, let him use his laser eye and lock on people like Star-Lord and Marvel Rivals. Also, Jetpack Joyride, if you know, you know, that's a classic. But for our next character, we have
Tremor.
Tremor is a tank. His primaries are Stone Punch and Lava Burst. With his Lava Burst, he can shoot a short-range burst of lava that deals damage over time, and then Stone Punch is just a regular old punch move, kind of like, you know, the Thing in Marvel Rivals is his rapid punches. His abilities are Rolling Magma, hurl a rolling ball of magma rock to launch up the enemy hit. Crystal Armor, conjure crystal armor around himself or a chosen ally that grants them damage reduction. Crystal Shield, create a protective barrier and shatter the shield to knock back enemies. And then his ultimate is Earthquake, use immense power to launch up all enemies in front of Tremor into the air. This is pretty much similar to the Thing's ultimate. I believe it also stuns enemies as well. And then his passive is Gold Skin, immune to launch up, knockback, and other displacements effects, once again, like the Thing in Marvel Rivals. For our next character, we have
Scarlet.
Scarlet is a support character. Her primary is Bloodshot, unleash a bouncing bleeding dagger to damage enemies and heal nearby allies. Her abilities are Blood Bond, forge a blood bond with allies, granting healing over time and distributing damage taken across the bond, similar to Adam Warlock's Soul Bond ability. Blood Splatter, burst a dome of blood to give nearby allies healing over time. Cell Siphon, drain blood from an enemy to heal herself. Red Mist, grant herself a movement boost and deal damage over time to nearby enemies while active. And then her ultimate is Blood Trail, release blood around her while moving, providing healing over time and movement boost for surrounding allies. Excess healing converts to bonus health. And then for our next character, we have
Cabal.
Cabal is a damage character. Like I said before, I'm not too sure how they would do speedsters in Marvel Rivals, but I sort of just came up with giving him a bunch of dash attacks. For his primaries, he has hook swords, swing hook swords forward, and buzzing saws, hurl forward, spinning saw blades. His abilities are gas blast, expel gas forward to obscure enemy vision and leap forward, hook up, dash forward, seizing enemies through the path and launching up enemies at the end of the dash, slight gas, expel gas to dash in the direction of movement, and then his ultimate is Nomad Dash. Perform a rapid dash to immobilize an enemy and mark them with culling. Marked enemies will perish instantly if their health falls below a certain threshold, recharging another Nomad Dash within a short period. Sort of similar to Winter Soldier's ultimate attack, but also mixed with Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, and also adding the stunning effect to it. And then his passive is Godspeed. Keep moving forward to start speed skating and enable higher jumps. Luna Snow has this passive ability. Basically, she just moves faster if she moves forward. And then for our next character, we have
Geras.
Geras is a tank. His primary ability is Genesis Gauntlet, deliver a devastating heavy blow. Pretty much the Thing's heavy blow move, but it's his only attack, and instead of it being like an ability, which it's not really an ability, it's sort of just an alternate primary attack since it doesn't have a cooldown. I just decided to make that his primary since he has the big gauntlet and he'd be charging it up, and yeah. His abilities are Quicksand, create a sand trap to slow enemies within. I actually originally was gonna give this ability to Aaron Black because he has a sand grenade move in MKX, but I don't think it does something like this. I think it's similar to the Zaterran Spit where it just blinds them and stuns them for a bit. So I decided to give it to him instead since he pretty much a lot of his moveset is like sand stuff. And then reverse time, rewind a few seconds back to a previous position and gain bonus health based on missing health. Similar to the Magic, Black Panther, and Psylocke team up ability. And then Sand Pillar, unleash a Sand Pillar to launch up an enemy. Bed of Spikes, create a sandy bed of spikes to slightly damage multiple enemies. And his ultimate is Time Stop, summon a large hourglass to freeze nearby enemies in time and explode after time restarts. I noticed that a lot of tank characters in Marvel Rivals have stun abilities, like Doctor Strange has a stun ability that stuns a bunch of enemies. The Thing has a stun ability that stuns a bunch of enemies. Either that or it's like launch up stuff, like the Thing has the launch up, Venom has the launch up, Penny Parker sort of has the launch up. But the team up abilities are definitely made to like combo with one another, like you stun a bunch of enemies and then you attack a bunch of enemies. But yeah, since he's a time character, we sort of have to give him a time related ability with, you know, stunning characters. His passive is Rude Awakening. Once his body perishes, Geras can freely move as a soul and reforge his body at a chosen spot, similar to Adam Warlock's passive ability. He's seen doing this a lot in Mortal Kombat 11, so I thought it would make sense to give him that ability. And then for our next character, we have
Striker.
Striker is a damage character. His primary attack is Desert Eagle, fire at enemies with a Desert Eagle. He has a combo attack, Nightsticks, perform a combo with his batons, and the third strike will launch up the enemy hit slightly. His abilities are Fatal Flash, aim the flashlight at an enemy to blind them, Shrapnel Grenades, throw a bundle of grenades that split into a small bit of shrapnel, similar to Groot's Spore Bomb ability. Stun Gun, shoot a taser that stuns the first hit enemy. Shovel Trap, toss a rope of Caltrop to deal damage over time to enemy on top and slow enemies that pass through it. Striker's never done this move, but RoboCop has done it in MK11, so I decided to give it to him since he's a cop character. You know, he would use a shovel trap, and it's also similar to Human Torch's ability with his chaining fireball abilities. His ultimate is Rocket Shield. Equip a riot shield that blocks incoming attacks and can propel forward to knock back enemies. Nightsticks is converted to Riot Push. which knocks back enemies but leaves you vulnerable to frontal attacks. I wasn't sure initially to make him a damage character or a tank character because I did want to give him a riot shield, but then once I remembered that RoboCop has a riot shield move in MK11, I decided I should give that to him for his ultimate, and so that way he's not technically a tank character because he doesn't use a shield. And so that way I don't have to make him like the Captain America of this game, which would kind of make sense because it's Striker, but I don't know if that's too much or not. Also, can y'all believe that this motherfucker beat Kintaro, Ermac, and Reptile and Melina? Like, what? But anyway, our next character is
Collector.
Collector is a support character. His primary attacks are Warquat. I ain't gonna lie, I have no idea how to say that. Toss a chakra forward that bounces off surfaces to hit enemies and back to him. And Healing Relic, use a lantern to heal allies. And he also has a combo attack, Shoutout Fury, slice enemies with Shoutout swords. His abilities are Damned Bola, fling a bola forward to stun an enemy briefly. Demonic Mace, launch a chained mace forward to knock back enemies and heal himself. Vial of Sorrow, hurl a vial that leaves a patch of green fire that grants allies healing over time and slows enemies. Bag Bomb, throw a bomb that slows the enemy hit. And his ultimate is Relic Lure, shoot a massive light to lure in enemies and disable their mobility abilities. Kind of like Groot's ultimate a little bit, but they can still like shoot and use abilities that attack, just not abilities that help them move around. And then for our next character we have
Shinnok.
Shinnok is a damage character. His primary is Scepter Strike, fire health sparks from the Bone Staff to deal damage. Devil's Flick, summon a big skeletal hand to flick an enemy away. Summon Fiend, summon a big skeletal hand to grab and immobilize an enemy. Amulet Strike, fire a short range health spark from the amulet to deal damage and absorb projectiles to gain bonus health. Mimicry, perform a random special from a random ally or enemy, not including team up abilities or ultimates. I'm not sure if it would just be limited to attack abilities or also include mobility abilities as well, but it would pretty much just do something random. And it's like if it does something good, it does something good. If it does something bad, it does something bad. Just sort of just taking a chance with using the mimicry ability. And then for his ultimate is Corrupted Shinnok, transform into Corrupted Shinnok, gaining enhancements to all of his abilities. This is similar to Magic's ultimate where she turns into Dark Child and it basically enhances all of her abilities. So in this case, Hell Sparks would turn into like a Hell Beam that shoots out of his chest, kind of like Mortal Kombat X. Basically similar stuff to what he does in his Corrupted Shinnok form in Mortal Kombat X or even Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. And then for our next character we have
Motaro.
Motaro is a tank. His primary ability is Tail Shot, shoot red energy balls from his tail. His abilities are Bull Grab, grab a frontal enemy and punch them away. Donkey Kick, unleash a devastating back kick that launches enemies upwards. Centaurian Warp, teleport toward an ally and apply damage reduction to both of you. Similar to the Thing's ability, but instead of jumping, he teleports. Energy Shield, create a red energy shield that deflects incoming projectiles. And then his ultimate is Power Charge, continuously charge forward, launching up enemies and gaining bonus health for every hit enemy. Kind of like Penny Parker's ultimate, but instead of protruding all of the webs and mines and stuff like that, it's just bonus health for every hit. Since the Thing also has a charge attack, I think it would also probably make sense to give Motaro a charge attack that would be this attack, but you know, on a smaller level without the bonus health aspect to it. But also I wouldn't really know what to do for his ultimate attack if that were the case. So if you guys want to give me ideas in the comments down below, please let me know. What would you do for his ultimate ability if Power Charge was just a normal ability? But then for our next character we have
Fujin.
Fujin is a damage character. His primary attack is Crossbow Blast, unleash crossbow bolts to damage enemies and reduce the cooldowns of all his abilities. Similar to Psylocke's crossbow primary attack, his abilities are Warping Wind, manipulate the wind to push or pull enemies similar to Invisible Woman's ability. Jet Stream, grant himself and nearby allies a movement boost and slow nearby enemies similar to Storm's Tornado ability, just without the ability to toggle between Thunder and Tornado. And he also has Wind Kicks, spiral forward in the air to hit enemies, kind of like Black Panther's Spiral Kick, but maybe he can only do it in the air. I don't think I gave it to him in this presentation, but maybe he could also have like a double jump ability since, you know, maybe he has the wind to jump up in the air. He also has Skywalker, hold ability key to walk in the air. Divine Wind, hold ability key to fall slowly. His ultimate is Advancing Tornado, transform into a hurricane to draw in nearby enemies and deal damage similar to Storm's ultimate ability. And then his passive is Pressure Bomb. Defeating an enemy will generate a pressure bomb exploding after a duration, so kind of like Gila's passive ability. And then for our next character we have
Shiva.
Shiva is a tank. Her primary is Shokan Flame, throw fireballs from each hand. Her abilities are Death March, boost speed, and enable Dragon Drop to leap into the air, similar to Captain America where he does the run and then you can also leap and then smack into the air. Dragon Drop, slam down from the sky into a target area, launching up enemies. This can pretty much only be done after doing the Death March leap thing. Firebolt, throw a large slow moving fireball that knocks enemies back. Shokan Shield, raise the shield to deflect incoming projectiles, sending them ricocheting in random directions like Captain America. See what I was talking about with Stryker being the Captain America? I decided to make Shiva the Captain America because she does have a shield in one of the games and she has the jump and slam down thing, so I thought it made sense. You know, I feel like it makes more sense than making Stryker Captain America, you know, at least moveset wise. And then her ultimate is Dragon Charge, shield held high, carve a path forward, granting both herself and allies along the path continuous bonus health and movement boost. Using Shokan Shield or Death March while this ability is active can launch up enemies. But for our next character we have
Nitara.
Nitara is a damage character. I really considered making all of the blood type characters support classes, since I feel like the whole blood thing could make more sense for healing, but ultimately I decided to make her a damage character just because I couldn't really fit her moveset into anything else. Her primary attack is Blood Spit, spit globs of blood to damage enemies. Her abilities are Blood Spray, spit a spray of blood to blind enemies. Quick Taste, dive towards the ground and bite an enemy to gain bonus health and enter grounded mode. Kind of like one of Human Torch's ability, but with more added to it. Blood Sacrifice, take slight damage to grant herself a damage boost and activate the Blood Bolt ability. Blood Bolt, shoot a large blast of blood that can knock down flying enemies. Air Combat, see what I did there? Toggle between flight mode and grounded mode. And then her ultimate is Bat Swarm, summon a swarm of vampire bats to attack enemies. Next up we have some team up abilities, some more deadly alliances. For our first one we have Brotherhood of Shadow. When Shinnok lands a final hit in defeating an enemy, he can instantly resurrect Quan Chi and Noob Smoke in the respawn phase or grant them bonus health if they are still alive. This is similar to Gila's team-up ability with Thor and Loki. I thought since he's a necromancer like Quan Chi, he would probably have the ability to resurrect Quan Chi in this game, similar to what Gila does. This new passive is called God of Death. It gives them 50 bonus health per enemy defeated. The respawn delay is 1.5 seconds, and the team up target is Shinnok, which again, this means that Shinnok is required to make this team up ability work. For our next team up ability, we have Black Dragon. Kano assists his fellow members of the Black Dragon with temporary armor packs, granting them damage resistance. Once activated, they can continuously generate bonus health, making up for lost health. Similar to Invisible Woman's team-up ability with the Fantastic Four, I decided since the Black Dragon has the 4 members in this game, they would be like the Fantastic Four, and they would have the Fantastic Four ability. The new ability is called Black Market Armor. The duration is 5 seconds. The cooldown is 20 seconds. The bonus health growth is 5 bonus health per 0.1 second. The bonus max health is 100, and the team-up target is Kano. Next, we have Bad and Ugly, you know, like good, bad, and the ugly. Aaron Black can ride Motaro,
Pause.
receiving damage reduction. The new ability is Riding Cowboy, and the team-up target is Motaro. This is sort of similar to how Rocket and Jeff the Shark can ride Groot. Initially, I was gonna make it to where Thor was in the game, just himself without Farah, and he would have an ability or a team-up ability for people to ride him, but I decided to just cut him out of the presentation and replace him with Geras. I feel like this makes sense, right? Because Motaro, he's like half horse, and Aaron Black is a cowboy, so he would ride horses. Y'all think Aaron Black ever rode Motaro ever? I'm surprised I've never heard them bring that up at all in any of the games. But next, we have Blood Sisters, you know, like Blood Brothers, but it's Blood Sisters. Scarlet can enhance Natara's blood magic, converting her blood sacrifice to blood ritual. While active, enemies near Natara take continuous damage, and her blood bolt is given 3 charges instead of 1. The new ability is called Blood Ritual. The damage she takes while activating this ability is 25. The continuous damage is 25 per second. The damage boost is 33%. The cooldown is 15 seconds, and the duration is 8 seconds. And the team-up target is Scarlet. Next, we have AC/DC. Raiden can infuse electricity into Fusion's jet stream, granting himself and allies around him a damage boost and dealing damage to nearby enemies. The new ability is Electric Current. Damage boost for himself is 25%, and the damage boost for his allies is 12%. The strike currency is 2 seconds per strike. The damage is 35, and the team-up target is Raiden. This is similar to how Storm can do the Thunder toggle thing with her one ability, except I decided to make it separate so I could add a team-up ability for Raiden and Fujin. I'm not exactly sure how Storm's ability works, if you have to like activate the tornado thunder thing, or if it's just always happening, always. I'm also not sure if this would be able to be active while the jet stream is active, but that's their team up ability. And then next we have Green Day. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what to name this one. They're both sort of green, so I just decided to call it Green Day. With Jade on his side, Kotal Khan can summon a Jade Totem that reduces the cooldown of his abilities while in range. New ability is Jade Totem. The cooldown reduction rate is 25%. The cooldown is 40 seconds after the totem has been destroyed, and the team-up target is Jade. Next we have Special Forces. Sonya infuses kinetic energy into Jax's metal arms, allowing him to hurl energy waves forward. Iron Fist converts into Assault Wave. The new ability is obviously called Assault Wave. The range is 3-meter spherical radius. The projectile damage is 60, and the spell field damage is 35. The duration is 10 seconds. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Special effect, heat does not accumulate while active, and the team-up target is Sonya Blade. This team-up ability would be similar to how with Scarlet Witch, Magneto can enhance his primary attack to be like a melee and a projectile at the same time, and his projectiles are like better. So kind of like how his projectiles are sort of like a boomerang shape and arched shape. You know, the Assault Wave is also an arched shape. So I basically just gave Jax Magneto's team-up ability with Scarlet. And then next we have SWAT Team. With Cabal's expertise and black market technology, he can equip Stryker with speed gloves, granting him faster fire rate and reload speed. The new ability is called Fast Hands. The fire rate boost is 33%. The duration is 12 seconds and the cooldown is 40 seconds. And the team up target is Cabal. I wanted to do something similar with how Rocket has the team up ability with the Punisher and Winter Soldier, but I thought giving him infinite ammo would be a little bit unrealistic, but also I guess it's a little unrealistic in Marvel, but hypothetically it could pretty much just be the same as Rocket's team up ability with Winter Soldier, since Winter Soldier does also have like a revolver type weapon. So maybe it could be the same as that, or it could be this. Either way, I wanted to add the whole speed thing to it because, you know, Cabal is a speedster, so you'd probably make a device or have a device that is related to speed somehow. And then next we have Royal Revenge. Again, I wasn't too sure what to name this one, but here it is. If Shao Kahn is on Sindel's team, once her body perishes, she can freely move as a Banshee and reforge her body at a chosen spot. The new passive is Banshee Rebirth. The cooldown is 120 seconds and the team up target is Shao Kahn. Pretty much similar to Gearus's passive. This pretty much gives her Gearus's passive slash Adam Warlock's passive, but because Adam Warlock can give his passive to Star-Lord and Mantis, I decided Shao Kahn can give it to Sindel, since in the games he does kind of technically resurrect Sindel, so I thought it would make sense in that sort of way. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but I feel like it works. I feel like it makes sense. Next we have History Lesson. While Gearus is on the field, Collector and Shiva can tap into the hourglass to rewind a few seconds back to a previous position. After rewinding, Collector and Shiva gain bonus health based on missing health. This is similar to, again, with Magic's team up ability with Black Panther and Psylocke. It's the go back in time type of thing, but since Gearus has it, they pretty much just borrow Gearus's move. The new passive is called Death Proof. The rewind time is 3 seconds prior. The bonus health slash damage taken conversion is 80%. The cooldown is 30 seconds and the team up target is Gearus. Last but not least, we have some new maps and modes, similar to how in Marvel Rivals, with each season they keep on adding new modes and maps. I decided to add some more for this video. So for Street, we have Invasion, which is similar to the Domination game mode. We have Pyramid of Argus for Armageddon. Armageddon is pretty much the Doom match of this game. So free for all, similar to how it is in, you know, the games. It's Armageddon, they're all fighting each other. I think it would be cool too, because similar to how Doom match uses the Doctor Strange buildings and portals and stuff like that, I feel like that could be similar to this, where maybe you can go through portals and go inside of the temple, but also you can fight outside of the temple, similar to how they do here. We have Sundo Festival for another Convergence map, and then also because they just added the new clone match or whatever it's called, Clone Rumble, I think that's what it's called. I mean, obviously it'd be cool to add that into this game, but I don't think that has like a specific map to it, so I didn't really add it to this presentation, but it does come out today. I can't wait to play that after I record this video. Which, speaking of, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did,
brother, whoa now.
Okay, so editing G-Boy here. Season 2 of Marvel Rivals just released recently, so with that came a new Domination map. So I was thinking we could add a new Domination map to this video, and the idea that I had was something related to Chaos Realm. As far as I know, Chaos Realm hasn't really been displayed in like too many maps throughout any of the games. I think the only time that's ever been in a game was during Deception, when you fight Havoc, or you're in the Chaos Realm arc of that story. So I guess it could be something related to that, or Order Realm. Order Realm could be cool too. I feel like it would sort of have to be a new realm though. I don't know any specific areas in the game besides like Shang Tsung's island, which we already technically have, that sort of are on Earth but diverge from the normal landscape area, which I mean that's pretty much Shang Tsung's island, right? But we already have Shang Tsung's island in this game, so we'll just put Chaos Realm or Order Realm in there. Also, while I was recording this, I forgot to mention anything about the Clash of the Lions, Lucio Ball, Soccer, Rocket League-esque game mode that they have. I imagine that for this game, they would probably just use the training room from Mortal Kombat X as like the soccer map. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Past G-Boy, go on with the outro. Click the video on screen to watch part 1 of this video. I might make a part 3. If I do, I don't think it's gonna be as detailed as these first 2, but I might as well finish it out right. But with that being said, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and peace.